After a good night's rest listening to the river all night, we ended up spotting a nearby lake on our maps that we wanted to check out before hitting the trails we had planned today. So I was setting up the rigs for a photo shoot, and Richard was in two-wheel drive and he dug his rear end pretty good. Ooh. We might have to do a recovery here. I'm gonna have to get the snatch strap here and you're in deep. Yeah, I'm gonna have to snatch him out. Well, not ideal, but not a problem. So upon doing the kinetic rope, obviously it has failed because my front has dug in. The back is still up high and dry, but it was like marshy there. My front dug in, so now we're both stuck. So game plan is to use his winch to pull me backwards onto more solid ground so I can drive up onto this very dry part here, and then he can winch off me on the dry part. Wanted to give some tips here as I'm slowly being winched out by Richard. As you can see, my truck is currently in neutral and I'm letting the winch do all the work. At this moment, I don't want it to give it any throttle as I don't want the wheels to dig me down even further and get me more stuck. I'm just being patient and letting the winch do the work. All I'm doing here is moving the steering wheel back and forth to help me get out of that hole. All right, one vehicle out, one to go. So now, since now I'm on dry ground here, gonna winch off here and hopefully we can get him out with ease. Well, this has turned into quite the interesting, at least mine is on dry ground. But game plan to get Richard out, and here's the holes that my front wheel sunk into. But game plan is to better mount myself and to make sure I don't sink in. Even though that appears to be dry ground, I'm going to put my 2 traction boards on the rear tires so that way it has more surface area and doesn't sink in as we're winching him off. If you notice I'm a little out of breath, it's because the last 5 minutes I've been kind of, as much as I can, digging out this rear wheel so it has a lot less mud it has to try to traverse out of. So I'm gonna go put the traction boards under my wheels, and he's airing down super low, down to like single digit PSI, and hopefully have a successful recovery. So you can get a visual idea of what I was referring to about the traction boards. So now that my wheels are mounted on the traction boards, I have increased my surface area, so that way it's going to be a lot harder for the truck to sink in while he's winching off of me. And he's just still currently airing down, and hopefully we'll have this truck recovered in a few minutes. All right, another small little update. So we're using Richard's 4 recovery boards, pretty much 1 on each tire, to make sure he doesn't sink back into the mud. So we got all 4, and you can see I was out here, dug up a little more of the wheel. See all the mud there. So kind of giving it the best chance here to be pulled up onto the traction boards and then can be driven onto the dry ground over there.
I just realized I was in neutral, but my e-brake was on.
Oh. People that make fun of traction boards, this is living proof of how they work. I mean, a winch wasn't working. I mean, as Richard just disclosed, he had accidentally had his e-brake on. High stress situations tend to tend to miss the small steps. But you can see, with just the power of the truck and all 4 traction boards, we were able to get it out of that very
plus traction board.
Yeah, very deep hole.
We never really used the winch technically.
Lots and lots of hours goes into making these videos, and would greatly appreciate, while Richard makes it out, to leave a like and subscribe if you aren't. We made it to the main trail we had planned today, and the first several miles was just a rough road, and not the fun rough roads either. There was no challenges to make it worthwhile. It also wasn't very scenic as we climbed an elevation through a previously burnt forest. But things were about to change. Well, we just arrived to the peak of this trail, and at first I had my doubts about the trail because the beginning was kind of boring, not scenic, but we pushed through, and I'm honestly glad we pushed through because the views up here are honestly amazing. And this might be the tallest trail that you can take up in the Uintas, possibly, because we're sitting at 11,400 feet. The views that you have all around are absolutely stunning. After taking in the views, it was time to head back down the mountain to make it to camp before sunset. We ended up finding a place to camp for the night, and it was time to make dinner. Our Iceco APL 55 is keeping everything perfectly cool for these overlanding trips. This fridge is built to last, as it's made from stainless steel and has a 5-year warranty on the compressor. This fridge is perfect for our longer trips with 58 quarts of capacity and the option to make it a freezer and a fridge, or just have it a fridge, which is the current configuration we have it for this specific trip. It's super quiet, has a soft close lid, and has some very satisfying latches. Another great feature this fridge has is it has an app for your phone. So even when we're driving down trails, I'm able to change the temperature if need be. Make sure to go check out the Iceco APL 55 in the link below and use code OUTLANDISH to save yourself 12% off any purchase. As I wrapped up making dinner, we hung out revisiting the eventful day we just had before both of us deciding to get to bed early to get some much needed rest. The next morning, we were greeted with a beautiful sunrise painted all over the surrounding landscape. So we are currently at the next trailhead that we're going to hit, airing down. I've already finished airing down. Richard is currently finishing up his last tire. And we're going to hit, supposedly, based on our research, the hardest off-road trail in the Uintas. Hopefully that's the case, because so far this trip has been some beautiful scenery, but the trails, all the trails we've done have kind of been subpar as far as obstacles. So we're hoping this trail lives up to the rating and scratches that itch for us on, conquering some obstacles and having some fun on the trails. As we finished up this obstacle, we were nearing the end of this in and out trail. The thick layer of trees and brush began thinning out until we came out to an opening revealing a boulder field with unobstructed views of the surrounding mountains.